Well, I haven't done a video like this in a while. I'm going to do a video of me working on a ceiling fan, or should I say two ceiling fans. As you see, this is a very familiar look for you guys, at least the ones who've watched my first video on this channel. I've got a Palm Beach hanging here, and it looks in about the same condition as it was when I did the video of it. The blades still need to be cleaned on it, but yeah. I'm getting them as good as they can be anyway. So, you guys want to watch me work on the other Hampton Bay Palm Beach? I mean, this one needs to be cleaned, so I might clean this one on camera. I don't know yet. I don't know if I want to run to the sink with the blades on this, with the blades taken off and everything. At least for this one. I mean, I'm just gonna take the blades off the blade brackets for this one, because you can access the screws pretty easily on top, as you can see. I apologize for the mess on my little TV stand there. But yeah, the only reason why it's spinning in the other direction is because my fan over here is running. You might have been able to hear it off the bat. You might hear it now that I've mentioned it. But in order to work on the other Palm Beach, unfortunately, I've got to take my childhood fan down in Hampton Bay Reddington 3. And yes, I do have the south wind right there. Third ceiling fan rig testing. Only 2 of the rigs have the wall controls on them, though. You might get sneak peeks of those throughout the video. You might have just now got a sneak peek over there, but yeah. Let me show you guys what I've got to do to this other Palm Beach. I might as well just do here, so I can be heard a little easier. I'm gonna turn my fan off for a second. Okay, so here's the other Palm Beach. So what I've got to do is, so this is the other one I'm about to start working on. I'm about to put this one up on the ceiling, or at least on my my test rig. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take the canopy, the decorative ring, and that one too, and the lower canopy, and I'm going to, there's screws here. Yeah, there's screw holes here on the canopy. That's really dirty. Wow. This one actually has one of the decorative pulls still on it. I need to get more decorative pulls for these things. This one only has one of the original decorative pulls. But anyway, I need to take the set screw out, the pin out. This one actually is missing its pin right now. Oh yeah, I forgot about that missing pin. I guess I'll have to put find a pin somewhere. I think I have a spare pin somewhere to put in it, but for now that's just how it's gonna be. So yeah, that's what I've got to do. So probably gonna end up doing that. Of course, I got to take this part off. I'm turning this fan back on. Hang on a minute. It's getting hot in here quick. Okay, so anyway, so I've got to take the Reddington 3 down to put that fan up. What I'm gonna do is for this. Oh, I just bonked my head on my childhood fan. Hang on. That's the downsides of having low-hanging fans. You've got to walk underneath them a certain way, or else you're gonna get bonked. So what I did with this one is I reset the pitch completely, where the blades were just completely level with the floor, and then I adjusted the heights of them. I measured the tip here from this part right here of the trusses down to the blade right here. So I had that much distance there. I did it while it was flush mounted, because I don't want to do it on the down rod. That's why I'm going to flush mount the other one real quick. But this one, I would show you guys it running, but I'm going to save the run video for a whole separate video. But I'm going to try and get these looking in mint condition. I'm going to try and get them back in their prime like they were whenever I filmed them as one of my first videos. I think it was my second video actually, but it's pretty darn close. So I still need to clean the motor, and this is pretty dirty right there. That one's dirty, that one's dirty. This one I've actually already cleaned. This is what they looked like in my video. I'm gonna get them all looking like this. And this one right now is still a little bit out of balance. But I'm sure the imbalance, some of the imbalance is coming from the dirtiness of the blades. But if it still can't be, if it still is unbalanced after I wash the blades, I'm just gonna leave it like that because I've already bent these blades way too much. So this is as good as it's gonna get for this one. The other one should be able to balance a little bit more better because I haven't messed with those blades nearly as much. Luckily, I know now that flush mounting it makes it easier to adjust the blades. So that's what I'm gonna do. So without further ado, let's take down the Reddington. So you know what? I'm going to. What's the best way to do this? So here, I'm gonna pause the video and get you guys on my tripod real quick. All right, there we go. Much better. So I'm gonna take down this Reddington in front of you guys. I want to get as much recording time in as possible with this video. So yeah, here's me. So this is the quick connect version. So all I gotta do is push down a pin and slide the blades to the side, pull them off. Alright. I don't even know why my screwdriver's in my hand for this part. I literally just take them apart pretty easily. I almost don't even need my screwdriver to take it apart from the blades down. It's all quick connect. Uses as little screws as possible, which is nice. So yeah, essentially, if you have a low-hanging fan, and let's say someone like me who knew how to take fans apart, especially if they're quick connect, imagine someone walking in your house and just randomly just grabbing your fan and start pulling blades off with ease like this. If I wasn't a person who ever worked on fans, I would be terrified, but obviously this ain't the case. Especially if you have one of those low ceiling patios with a ceiling fan hanging almost low enough to essentially give you a haircut, depending on how your height is. Like me, I'm about 6'1", so my height doesn't do me any justice for low hanging fans. I have to pretty much break my neck to walk underneath both these fans, or well, technically all three, but this one in the Palm Beach is the ones I gotta worry about. So I've already disconnected the power. These are on a one-plug system. All three fans are on one plug. I've got the whole system unplugged right now. And if you're like me, if you're like me, and you're taking down and putting up ceiling fans on your testing rig pretty often, you have a lot of light bulbs on one table. Just to the right of you guys, there's a table full of light bulbs and everything. Alright, let's see. Get this ring off of here. There we go. I'm going to take out the canopy screws. Ooh, hang on a minute. Before I take these screws out too far, I need to take the shades off. I almost forgot to take the shades off. So with these being quick connect, you can just literally just pull them off. Just watch your fingers. Don't have your fingers around like in between the shade and the metal part. Have them more right here to support the fan and just pull straight out like that. May seem intimidating, but I have two fans that have this quick connect feature, and I haven't broken a single shade on them yet. But if you've got those really paper thin glass shades, like the little flower shades, let me show you. If you've got these antique flower shades, these will not work for that. These would shatter the second the spring hits them. I don't speak from experience, but I just know that very likely will happen. All right, so. I just figured out that they still sell the remote receivers for your for these things, which is kind of crazy. I mean, they don't sell the remote receivers for like the incandescent bulbs anymore. Like this one, I've already put dimmable LEDs in it, and the LEDs weren't able to completely like shut off inside of this thing because the module has just enough power still left that it needs like an incandescent filament to completely eliminate all light. So I'm going to update the receiver in this thing. I have a receiver on Amazon, so for some reason Hampton Bay still uses the same receiver, which is amazing because I can give this fan multiple lives. Because once the capacitor goes bad in this thing, the whole receiver's done for because it's an integrated system, which is great. So yeah, you can kind of imagine my excitement when I saw that. I thought the capacitor would be hiding on top of the motor housing, but no, it's actually just in one piece. It's like a giant puck in there. It's got the harness, or it's got the harness connection inside of it. There's like the harness connection's not even on a wire. It's the fan that's got the wired connection, and then the harness connection just kind of clips into the connector in the circuit board. It just kind of happens from there. So it's literally the exact same model receiver. So it should perform about the same, except it won't have that fade up feature like you guys saw in my video I made of this thing. I made like a 40-minute video on this thing, which is, I mean, for your childhood fan, I mean, making a 40-minute video almost doesn't even seem like enough about it. And I would have had that video to an hour if I had enough of a reason to film it for. But I mean, here I am getting more minutes on it because I'm taking it down for the other Palm Beach. Now I'm just going to loosen the 2 screws. And yes, with a quick connect fan, you just leave the blade brackets on there. Okay, disconnect that. Alright, here comes the wiring. I apologize if the camera angle's not the greatest. So my blue wire still capped off up here? Yes, it is. Okay. I have an extra like blue wire right here. It's kind of capped off because, well, this fan only has the hot, neutral, and ground on it. So, because it only gets the blue wire whenever you get to the receiver. The receiver carries the blue wire. The blue wire is not carried throughout the top of the fan. So I couldn't use my dimmer on this thing. And without further ado, we lift and go off, and down goes my childhood fan. Now it is sitting in my fan collection for the first time with all the other fans. And conveniently, it's sitting next to the Huntington 3 that actually has the same light kit as it, pretty much, the quick connect feature. Okay, so I still got to take this bracket down, but I'm gonna work on the Palm Beach, and we'll work on setting it up to flush mount. So this is going to be a multiple take video. I'm not going to do this all in one take. So quite possibly I'm going to be editing this video, stitching together all the little clips I get, because I can't leave the camera paused for too long, or else my camera will just close. At least I think that's the way it is. Because even before hitting the record button, it just closes out for some reason. So I think this is the bracket I need to use for the Palm Beach. I had to fight to get the other Palm Beach to flush mount because you had to remove the set screw to actually get it, because there's a piece of the fan that actually has to fit in this little area here even when it's flush. So yeah, I'll be right back after I set it up to flush mount. Alright, so I've taken down the bracket of the Reddington 3 to be precise. And now, as you can see, I have made it flush mounted. See, the canopy is now attached to this thing. And I took the light kit off, if you were ever wondering what the light kit looks like, or what these things look like without their light kits. There's what you call the wiring harness connection. And let me show you what the inside of the light kit looks like on this, or at least the electronics. So yep, there's these things have got pretty big capacitor in them. They're the standard 5-wire, but they're like way beefier than the modern 5-wires you see. At least like they're more of a cube. The new ones are like rectangular. Oh. Looks like the pull chain kind of broke out of its spot there as well. Well, that's gonna have to be fixed. Okay, well, found that out. Luckily I have new pull chains, because that just happened unexpectedly. That's an old pull chain too. Okay, let me pause the video and I'll just work on doing that. Okay, now we're at the floor. I had to go ahead and open up my massive case of fan device replacements. And I selected the proper pull chain with the proper finish on it. And I mean, I guess I get 2 birds with 1 stone. I get to do a pull chain replacement video. So let me get my little makeshift table going here. Something like that. Okay. Get you guys a little closer. So I'm gonna use a paper clip to loosen these wires, because you can see where it broke there. This thing was really brittle, by the way. Like, I took the old pieces out of this nut that it was in. This is a double threaded nut, threaded on both sides. One side gets the pull chain threaded in, and then the other side just threads in the guide. It just kind of threads in through the pull chain hole here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here's my new one. It looks very similar, kind of similar color. So I'm just going to line up the pull chain here. Trying to get the best shot possible. There we go. Oh, come on, there we are. And I'm just going to thread that on. I apologize about the fan noise in the back. I just can't have that thing off with my fans being off. And I don't have the wires capped off up there, so I'm not just going to straight up plug the whole system back in. Oh, I think I got to turn the nut around. I think I got the wrong side on there. Yeah, I definitely had the wrong side. So yeah, that should just thread. Oh, hang on a minute. There's it's not one to go on there for some reason. That's very interesting. I'll get it on there eventually. It's probably just that the thread is like super new. Yeah, it's gonna go on there the other way. Hang on, guys. Okay, that's as far as I could get it. The thread won't go any further, probably because it's just one of those thicker plastic threads, but I've got it on there good enough anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab one of my paper clips, and I'm going to start popping wires out of the old one. So let me just get behind the wire the best I can here, and that one came out pretty easy. So that one was in the L, obviously. It's line. Where's our L on this new one? There it is. L is on the new one there. I've just got to follow it. Ooh, I love these new pull chains. Those bite down much better than the other ones I've ever had. Okay, I believe we've got gray in one. Yep. Let me see what I can do about getting behind this one and pulling the wire out. I've seen how Dan Newman does this. He uses like a tiny, like, screwdriver looking thing, and he's able to pull the wires out with ease. So, oh, I dropped my thing here. So it looks like this one needed a little more work than I thought. And I think when I picked it up earlier to show you guys the inside of the light, or the light kit part of the fan, that's when this thing finally snapped. I mean, if it was gonna break, it was gonna break in a more like inconvenient way. So I'm kind of glad it broke when it did, because I probably wouldn't have repaired it instantly like I am doing now. Man, this thing is being a goober. Oh, here it comes. Yep, somewhat. It's almost there. There we go. Now let me get the gray in the new one. It's kind of how you do it if you're like, if you don't remember how the wiring was very well. You just do it one wire at a time, switch them over one at a time. Where's my one? There's my one. There we go. I heard that one bite down real good, so that one works. Where did I put my paper clip at? Ah, here it is. So let's we'll work on the brown next, I think. Yeah, brown is 2, so we're gonna get the 2 out. I will eventually get one of the little screwdriver things or whatever Dan Newman had, because I saw him taking pull chain wires out right and left with it. I was like, well, where was that all my life of doing pull chain wiring? Okay, so we're in, I believe that was 2. Yeah, that was 2. So that goes next to the, there we go. That one didn't bite down quite as well, but it did it enough. Okay, one wire left, and that's obviously gonna go in the last port of the new one and out of the last port of the old one. And I'm sure the thing that Dan Newman had was not harming the pull chain as much as I am now with this old one, because he was taking the wires out of the pull chain to figure out what was wrong with the fan, because there was like a speed malfunction or whatever. It would stall out or something. I don't remember, but he was trying to figure out whether or not it was a like damaged coil or something wrong with the pull chain, and he was hoping it wasn't a damaged coil, so that's why he was doing pull chain first, pull chain diagnostics. Okay, so now we've got purple wire out, and we're gonna get the purple wire into the new one. Let's get a bullseye. Oh yeah, that one took real well. Okay, so you just watched before you a pull chain replacement. I will be back with you guys once I get the fan motor on the ceiling and start getting blades on there. Okay, well, I've got the pull chain in place now. I'm just gonna go ahead and film myself actually putting the fan in, like putting just the flush mounted part of it up. So let me work on that now. I've decided to go full-blown extendo with my tripod, so now you guys have got the quite possibly the best view possible with my tripod that I have. Luckily, this is one of those ones where you don't even have to remove the screws completely. You just kind of slide it into place and then tighten the screws in. I try not to use the drill too much, because with anytime I've used this drill, I've stripped screws that are very, very, very hard to strip. Like strip the thread in the one part, which is probably a very good reason to get an impact. But I've been using this Hyper Tough for years, so once the Hyper Tough goes out, I'll probably end up using one of my dad's impacts, or get one of my own. Most likely get one of my own, because I use a drill too much to just borrow someone else's. So now that we're up on that, I'm going to take out the fastening screw. That. I don't have the wires ran down into this outlet box yet. I plan to do that eventually. I gotta just hammer out one of the cutouts. So I'm getting to it eventually. So now, I don't know if you guys can see that. You see that hole there? There's a little notch right here, like a little rod. You just hang it right there, and you can do your wiring while it's anonymously, like dangerously dangling from the ceiling there. But that's where you can do your wiring. So that's what I'm going to do. So as you guys can see, I know these look like they're possibly on, but they're not. It's just I've got my lights on a completely separate circuit here. Looks intimidating, but I promise you that there's no like live wires on this rig right now. And my wall switch over here, my wall control is even on max, and there's no power. So I've kind of just discharged my wall control as well, because the remote receiver is always active in your remote controlled ceiling fans the second it gets power. So if the power goes out, that remote receiver is just continuously drinking power out of whatever capacitor is holding power. So I'm wiring this thing to a 2-switch system, basically. So every wire has its own conduit now, essentially. So we're going neutral. So for color wires, we're going white to white, black to black, or red to black, just depending on how old your wires are in your how old your wires are in your ceiling. It could also be, you could also have 4 wires or five wires, I think. No, 4 wires. You could also have 4 wires coming from your ceiling. One of them being black and one of them being red or blue. Usually red, because that's the 4-wire. That's how the 4-wire is on some of the electrical houses. Usually it would be like that extra wire will be red, because it's called like a, what is it, a traveling wire or whatever. It's the one wire you use to carry electricity past an outlet that's on a switch, kind of. And it's also a wire you use for 2-way or 3-way switches, where you switch one switch on, it turns the light on, and you go to the other switch and you switch it off, it turns that same light off. I like those type of switches. My grandparents' house has about 2 of them, two 3-ways. One goes in the one goes in the den, which is next to the kitchen and the sunroom, and then one goes into the hallway, controls the hallway light. There's a switch on each end. Enough rambling about that. Let's get this thing. I'm just going to leave the excessive wire kind of just hanging out for a second, because this is going to be difficult at first to get up here. Never mind. Okay, I'm not going to mess with that too much. I've got to get these wires tightened. Not wires. I've got to get this down rod, or not down rod. I've got to get the canopy tightened down. My goodness, I cannot speak. My vocabulary sucks in my videos, guys. I really apologize. Speech impediment sucks sometimes. As well as this dyslexia, ADHD, all that other stuff, because it just seemingly gets in your way sometimes when you're trying to communicate with someone or film a video like I am. This one flush mounts surprisingly better than the other one, probably because I'm actually using the original bracket for this one. I just glanced over behind the camera here, and as I'm working on this truss system, the blades to the other palm beach is just jiggling, like the plastic parts are doing that. It's funny. I might film that part, just kind of bang the truss here. It's not happening nearly as much with the south wind. Okay, so this thing's wired up. I'm not really going to bother too much with trying to cram the wires back up in the thing. So let's get the blades on. I want to show you guys what the blades look like. Well, first of all, let's make sure we wired the... Let's make sure our pull chain's going to work. So I'm just going to send power to this thing right now. And my south wind just came on high. I need to turn that off. And the Palm Beach just came on low. I'm going to turn that off. So clearly we had no, there's my proof that we had no power because the other two fans literally just came on. Now this one's got power. I'm going to turn it off with the wall control because I've got to get the wire harness put in. And I'm gonna kind of hold the wire harness while I'm sending power to this thing. Because, alright. So I'm going to hold this. Alright, so we must be off. Alright, so there's high. This is the louder motor for sure. I can feel it and hear it buzzing or humming. Because you remember, if you guys watched the Palm Beach video or the ceiling fan from my grandparents' house 1 video, which is one of my first videos. I think it was either my first or my second. It's down there somewhere. You just got to do some digging. But you guys remember, one of these were really loud, and this is the one right here. It's humming a whole bunch. Possibly the capacitor's going out. So at least that works. So clearly we've wired this correctly. I mean, it's really hard to. As long as you take one wire at a time, it's really hard to incorrectly wire a pull chain. Okay, let's pop out this rubber gasket. This kind of covers the screw holes. This thing's super yellowed out. That's how old this thing is. My Hampton Bay Lillicrest, the one that goes in the Hampton Bay Lillicrest, which is very similar to these fans, just 52 inches instead of 48. It's like a translucent whitish color. This one's yellow. These have seen plenty of sunlight because, well, obviously they were in a sunroom where my granny loved to plant things. So, yeah. Lots of sunlight have gazed on these. Alright, let's get these super warped out blades. So here's my repaired blade right here. This is the one I'm nervous about, but I've actually flexed this one around a whole bunch. This ain't coming undone anytime soon. If this is able to be moved like this, if it's able to flex like that, that ain't breaking because the fan's spinning. So we're safe with this blade, and this has still got that white coating on there from whenever I was preparing it. Luckily it just scrapes away. I just have to get like a wet cloth or something and go around the Gorilla Glue I put on it. Yes, you heard it. I did use Gorilla Glue. It works just fine. Wouldn't trust me, if one of you have never used Gorilla Glue before, you definitely want to eventually start using Gorilla Glue, because when it cures, it's basically liquid plastic. When it cures, it just turns into plastic. Like, I don't know if I could show you guys real well, but that's me on the Gorilla Glue right now. It's just another plastic. It's not rubber. It doesn't turn into rubber like some epoxies and stuff. And this is not a sponsored video. I'm not sponsored by them, so let's get that out of the way. I'm not going to be doing like the fans, well, at least not until I actually get sponsored by them, but I'm not going to do like the fan stick sponsors or anything like Dan Newman. I could start doing the thing that everyone's been doing. I've been seeing more and more fan collectors do it now. They're like, hey guys, first fan of the night. Or, well, someone tries to make a great impression of Dan Newman. Hey guys, first fan of the night. Something like that. My impression probably sucks, but you get the idea. I've been hearing more and more fan collectors do it nowadays. So yeah, that's spinning. So that's the damaged blade, and this one's got needs a lot of work. So what we're going to do to balance these blades or at least de-warp them anyway, is I'm going to use a tape measure and just, of course, like I said, I'm going to reset the pitch on them. So eventually this one's going to look as good as the other one that I showed you guys at the very beginning shot. And this one's got like some sort of weird goop. I've been seeing this goop on some of my fans, because when I had them stored, I saw the same goop was on the, I don't know if you guys can see that, but the same goop, or whatever it is, it clearly comes off, but I found the same stuff that was on my SMC Grayton. I found the same stuff on it. Like, I don't know what that stuff was, but whatever it was, when it dries, it looks like doo-doo stains. Hate to be disgusting on my channel, but like, that's exactly how I could describe it. It's as if you were to scare a ceiling fan so bad, you get the idea. I'm not going to go too much on detail on that. I am not going to be that nasty. So I'm going to get this blade on here. It's really weird how the blades go on in this thing. I mean, Hampton Bay still does the same system for their fans nowadays. Like, the Hampton Bay Lillicrest does the same thing. It has this little hole that you access to put the screws into the blade. And this is the best looking one out of all of them for this other fan. Let me see. And this is one of the better blade brackets where it holds the screws in place. Those screws are not coming out. Unfortunately, I am going to leave my fan on for this entire video because when I turned it off earlier, it got hot in here quick. The high was like, I don't know, 97, high 90s today. And even at night, it's hot. So, gotta leave that thing on. I mean, each testing rig has its own plug. So I could just unplug this testing rig and turn on the fans, the other two fans. But I don't want them interfering with how the way this video, I mean, I don't know how they would be able to interfere. I don't know what I'm worried about. As you guys can see, look how low hanging that blade is. It's essentially blocking your view. And then look at this one. So warped. But of course, this one flush mounts really well, so we're going to be really, really easily adjusting these. Now, I am going to be adjusting them in a way that might make some fan collectors cringe about it. I'm going to be literally bending the blades back in place. I've done it with the other one. The other one performed really well afterward. Worst case scenario, if I have to, I will be like just getting another like blade for this, or getting another blade bracket if it breaks. But I don't think I'll need to. Is that blade out of clock there? Holy cow, I think that blade's out of clock. I can't tell. Needless to say, it desperately needs to be adjusted. Wow, that thing is like super warped. Okay, let's work on this one. I'm using flathead to put these blades in because I want them super tight. This thing's going to wobble all over the place, quite possibly, if I don't make them super tight. Or well, I mean, they're going to get loose because it wobbles all over the place anyway. Maybe if I get this fourth blade on, it won't look that much out of clock anymore. Oh no, it's not out of clock. It's just that far bent down. So check this out. Here's the original condition of the blades, guys. Look at that. Look at how bad that warpage is. There's one blade that's just completely down. We're gonna fix that today, right before you. Okay, so I'm gonna go take a quick bathroom break, and then I'll come back and adjust these. Be right back. Alright, I am back. Slightly different angle. Sorry guys if the angle sucked earlier. I looked at how the angle looked as I went to go pause the video. I'm like, oh my god, that's a terrible angle. So yeah, you had to deal with that the entire shot. But I've got my tape measure here. Really, really tiny one, but this is all I need for this adjustment. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure from the top where it meets the truss here to the bottom of the blade. So right now we're at about 11 inches from the top here on this blade. Let me get to the lower one to put it in perception here. So, oof, or even worse, we're at just a tad over a foot on this one right here. This is the lowest one. This one, however, this one looks original. Like this one actually is barely sagged down. So actually this one might be our reference point for the rest of them. I'm probably going to end up resetting the pitch on this one. Okay, we're at about 8.25 of an inch. Or, yeah, 8 inches and a quarter. So this is our reference point right here. So we got to bend all the blades up to about 8 inches, I think. And of course, even though this one looks good, I'm still going to mess with the pitch on this one. Actually, you know what? I may not even touch this one. This one actually looks good. So I'm going to use the pitch off this one as well. This one's coincidentally, this one's the only good one. And it's the broken one too. You see that? You see my repair on there? It's the only broken one. So there's our reference point. So we need to go 8 inches from the top at the tip of the blades. So this is a whole 2 inches over, or a whole 2 inches down. So we got to work on this one. So here's where the scary part comes in, or at least the sketchy part. I'm going to put my hand on top of the motor like this. See, since we're flush mounted, this ain't going to move very much. And I'm going to take my hand on the blade bracket and I'm just going to push up. Now I felt it move a little bit. We're going to go back and measure. Since we felt it move, we're going to go back and measure. We went a whole inch up, nearly 1.25 inches up. So now we're just 1 inch away from fixing this blade. As sketchy as it looks, as long as your fan's not like Walmart brand, you should be able to do this kind of stuff without harming it. It's right about 1/2 inch away. Okay, there we go. The lowest blade is going to need the most bending for sure. So we need 1/2 inch more going up. So the key is just going little by little. You don't want to just haul it. Don't ever get impatient with this. Okay, we're even closer now. Actually, hang on, I'm wiggling too much. We need to go 1/4 inch more. Then we'll be golden, basically. Okay, I felt it move that time. Oh, okay, so I guess it didn't move. I don't know. So let's keep going. Also keep the motor housing in mind, it does bend as well. Where'd my blade go? Oh, interesting. Okay, so how did it go back down? That's weird. Alright, so alright, I'll bend it in a completely different way this time because it's like really like, oh, okay, that helped a little bit. I see that now. Alright. Make sure our motor housing isn't bending out too much. Alright, so So this blade's already looking better. You guys can see. We're close enough on this blade. We're going to move on. I'm going to work on this really bad one. This is my next decision here. So I know this one's got to move. Let's see how far down we are. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4 inches, I think. Wow, we're a whole 4 inches down on this one. So the lowest blades are the ones you got to worry about. Because them being the lowest, they're going to take a lot more effort to get adjusted. There we go. Found my method that I'm going to do. I'm just going to kind of do that to it. Just kind of wiggle. Push, 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 push. That's how we're going to do this. Let's see, how far are we now? How much distance did we move? We went up like 2 inches. So that's a method. It's a method we just learned. So 1, 2. Of course, this thing's making weird noises because I'm adjusting it while it's flush mounted. I can definitely tell we're low a little bit. Well, if you have bad wrists, don't work on a fan like this. Or don't ever like try and do it the way I'm doing it anyway. Okay. Looking a lot better now. Let's see where we're at now. Ah, we are so close. We're in the light. Like a quarter of an inch away again, like the other one. And our screws just got loose again. That's the thing about doing this. The screws get loose as well when you're doing this. Ooh, the canopy screws are loose too. Huh. Funny. What in the world? Hang on a minute. Oh, here we go. There's a reference point. The thing that sucks about working on this is that it moves around a whole bunch, and then you lose like how you're adjusting and stuff. I don't know how that got messed up though. Let's see. Now there's a whole bunch of stuff that is loose now. See, the fan just loosens up while you're doing this. It's insane how much it actually happens. Check our high blade. Tad above 8. Wow, this blade like reset itself almost. It went down. Alright, well there went my inset burner. Okay. I felt it move multiple times in that little bit of moving it. Check my reference blade. So here in a minute I'm just going to pause the video and just keep working on these. We're close. Okay, so I'm going to pause the video so that I don't use too much time up, and I'm going to just keep working on these, and once I come back I should have the warpage most of the way out. Alright, the dowel rod put back on and blade warpage fixed later, and now we're back together again. So we look a lot better. We don't look nearly as droopy as we were. Of course, the other Palm Beach still looks better than this one. This one's just a tiny bit droopy, but I got it. I spin the blades for you guys here. You can kind of get a visual. It couldn't get any better than that. For this one anyway, because the blade bracket, surprisingly enough, seemed weaker on this one than the other one. Because this one was warped a lot worse. When they took these fans down from my grandparents' house, I said they because I didn't get to take them down. Kind of wish I did get to, because I know how to take these apart the right way, instead of take them off the ceiling a hole and then chunk them in the garage like they did. So yeah, that's just kind of how the blades got really bad on these things. If I got to take them down, I would never have to do anything like this to them. I would be able to put them up and run them just like normal, but that's just how bad the blade warpage was on these. But now I've got this one in, and it's so nice seeing them both put up in the same room again. Even though they were literally installed probably 6 months ago in the same place that they've been for years, and then now all of a sudden they've been moved. So I need to connect our wiring harness. We're off on the pull chain. I think we're off, and the wiring harness. I mean, not the wiring harness. The wall control. Yes, I know it's not good for it to be hanging from the wire harness like that, but I'm literally about to grab it. Okay. This is the most annoying part about working with these kind of ceiling fans, is trying to line the screws up at first on the light kit. Yes, I know it would have made it easier if I just straight up took the glass and the cover off, but I don't want to do that as well. I'm just really trying to see how well our fix for the blades were as soon as possible. It doesn't help that I'm jacked up on caffeine right now. I literally had a cup of coffee earlier, so my caffeine levels are kind of bouncing. And I just drank a little bit of tea in between filming and stuff, so got that too. So my caffeine levels are kind of through the roof, so I'm a little shaky with the screwdriver right now. I'm like an old man working on a fan right now. It's probably how my grandfather would have been if he was working on this thing. He would, or when he was working on any fan really, or working on installing them, he'd be really shaky because, well, they drank coffee every morning then in that house, and I wonder if, well, I mean, he drank his coffee super quick just like I do. I inherited a lot of genes from him. But I guess our caffeine levels we just overload on sometimes because of how fast we down our coffee and stuff. Okay, we're back together. Let's see if our light works. Forgot about the dimmer. This is what these LEDs look like on a dimmer. They don't look good. They flicker a lot. Alright. Oh, what am I trying to do? I'm going to send it to low for now. Let's keep in mind I do have that repaired blade on there. I expect a little bit of a wobble from it because it's not perfect. And we've got about as much of a wobble as the other fan, on low anyway. I'm doing capacitor speeds on this. I've got it set to max on the thing. I'm going to actually get up underneath it, because I'm not going to stand level with those blades in case the unlikely happens. I hope not. So far, so good. This is risky. We're good. It wobbles a little bit more than the other one, but that's normal for this one. I know one wobbled more than the other. The one over there, the one behind you guys is spinning a little faster actually. Now that this one's running. All right. Well, I'd say both of these are fixed now. Perfect. Pull chain's a little shorter than I would like it, but that's okay. All right. I'm going to actually switch to capacitor controls. I mean, not capacitor, but wall control now. These lights come on really weirdly. You know what? I'm going to get this on camera. I'm going to go ahead and change that to the original bulb that they kept in these things, which is these hybrid incandescent halogen bulbs. They got a little halogen inside of them. I'm going to go ahead and replace that. So my fix worked, luckily, and the wobble's a lot less than I thought it was going to be, which is phenomenal. This is literally the first time in a while of me filming a fan repair without knowing how well it's going to turn out. Nice. Now we can use the dimmer. Being that close to the blades, by the way, it sounds like a choo-choo train. You can hear the choo-choo-choo-choo-choo-choo. That's what it sounds like. That's usually how I can tell whenever I'm ducking underneath these things, how close I am to the blades, or how close I am to hitting the blades. If I were to move any closer than that. What I'm going to do for now, I'm going to just turn off my fan. I'm going to turn off my south wind so I don't get any interference from it. I got to figure out which one's the buzzy one. Or the humming one anyway. There's one that hums really loud. Let's see which one it is. Forgot, we're on wall control. Nope, that's not the buzzy one, so it's got to be this one. Yes, I know. I said I was going to get original videos on these, and yes, I will. I will actually do a spin down test on both as well. Can't tell. They're a lot quieter because they're in a smaller room now. The sunroom was obviously a lot more echoey from them, for them anyway, but yeah, you saw it here, folks. Probably for the first time ever, actually, I filmed a repair video without knowing how it was going to turn out at the end. I think I've tried to do this one time before, and I just decided to not upload the video. I actually deleted the video because, well, the repair that I was trying to do went horribly wrong. It shorted out, so didn't want to publish a blooper that terrible. So they're both running on the same setting, high on the pull chain and low on the wall control. And I've got to say, look at that. All right, that's it. That's all I got for this video. Thank you guys for watching.